The animals worked very hard to bring in the hay. They sweated and got tired, but it was worth it. The harvest was more successful than they had expected. Some jobs were difficult because the tools were made for humans, not animals. No animal could use tools that needed them to stand on two legs. But the pigs were very smart. They always found a solution, and Teachers, the horses, knew the fields very well and were better at mowing and raking than Mr. Jones and his men. The pigs didn't do the physical work. They gave orders and guided the others. Because they were more intelligent, they naturally became the leaders. Boxer and Clover pulled the cutter or rake themselves. They didn't need bits or reins anymore. Every animal, even the smallest, helped with the hay. The ducks and hens worked all day in the sun, carrying little bits of hay in their beaks. They finished the harvest 2 days earlier than Jones and his men used to. It was also the biggest harvest ever on the farm. Nothing was wasted. The ducks and hens collected every single stalk. No animal stole even a tiny bit. That summer, the farm worked perfectly. The animals were happier than they had ever imagined. Every bite of food gave them real joy because the food was their own. They had produced it themselves, and it was not given by a cruel master. With the useless humans gone, there was more food for everyone. There was also more free time, even though the animals were still learning how to manage everything. They had many problems. For example, when they harvested the corn later, they had to step on it to remove the grains and blow away the husks themselves, because there was no machine. But the pigs were clever, and Boxer was very strong. They always found a way to succeed. On Sundays, the animals did not work. Breakfast was 1 hour later, and after that, there was a weekly ceremony. First, they raised a green flag that Snowball had made from Mrs. Jones's old tablecloth. He had painted a white hoof and horn on it. The green color showed the fields of England, and the hoof and horn meant the future animal republic after humans were gone. After the flag, all animals went to the big barn for the meeting, where they talked about the work for the next week and made decisions. Only the pigs gave ideas, and the other animals could vote but never suggested anything. Snowball and Napoleon were the most active, but they always disagreed. Even a simple plan, like giving old animals a place to rest, caused arguments about what age animals should retire. The meeting always ended with singing "Beasts of England," and then the animals had free time for the rest of the day. The pigs used the harness room as their office. They studied useful skills from books taken from the farmhouse. Snowball also made animal committees. He worked very hard and made many groups, like one for egg production and another for cleaning cows' tails. He even tried to teach wild animals like rats and rabbits. Most of these plans failed. The wild animals did not change and only used the kindness to get food. The cat joined one group and talked to birds, saying they were all friends now and could sit on her paw, but the birds did not believe her. However, the reading and writing lessons were successful. By autumn, most animals could read a little. The pigs already read perfectly. The dogs learned to read a bit, but only like the 7 Commandments. Muriel the goat read better than the dogs and read old newspapers to the others. Benjamin the donkey could read like a pig but said nothing was worth reading. Clover learned all the letters but could not read words. Boxer could only remember A to D. He tried hard but forgot letters quickly. So he decided to remember only A, B, C, and D and practice them every day. Molly only learned the letters of her name, made them with twigs, and decorated them with flowers. Most other animals could not learn past A. The less clever animals, like sheep and ducks, could not learn the 7 Commandments. Snowball said they could be shortened to one sentence. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. He said this was the main rule of animalism. The birds didn't like this at first because they had 2 legs. But Snowball explained that wings were not like hands, so they counted as legs. The birds didn't understand but agreed. The animals learned this sentence by heart. It was written on the barn wall in big letters. The sheep especially loved it and said it again and again while lying in the fields. Napoleon didn't care about the committees. He said teaching the young was more important. Jessie and Bluebell had puppies after the harvest. Napoleon took them away and said he would teach them himself. He kept them in a room that no one else could reach. Soon, the other animals forgot about them. The mystery of the missing milk was solved. Pigs were drinking it in their food. The apples started to fall from the trees, and the pigs took them all for themselves. Some animals were unhappy, but all the pigs, even Snowball and Napoleon, agreed. Squealer told the animals that pigs needed milk and apples to stay healthy. He said they didn't like them but needed them for their brain work. If pigs got sick, Jones would come back. The animals didn't want that, so they agreed that all milk and apples should go to the pigs.